9 months, and they were going to go down the tubes entirely, and somebody else came in, and I hate to say, they're building a coal plant every single week, and they're building nuclear, and they're doing a lot of things. It's never worked. It never will work. But Pennsylvania can't take a chance that answer is true. But she's been there for 20 years. That's what she's been saying for a long time. And she will do that. There's no chance that she's going to allow it. The election will take place. If she won, you're not going to have any fracking in Pennsylvania. You have 500,000 jobs. Think of that. It's your biggest business. And you get a big majority of your income from fracking. And you have somebody that's not going to allow fracking. She's not going to allow it. You can't take the chance. You have no choice. You've got to vote for me. You've got to vote for me.
All right, so Salena Zito, what do you think? Does that appeal work? He had a huge crowd in Harrisburg last night.
He did. That's the second time he's in Harrisburg. I would have actually been there last night, except I had to get up early to do this lovely show with you. That was a great answer. It was a little self-deprecating, a little humor in it, and it was the right answer. Fracking, hydraulic fracturing, is a big deal in our state. It employs directly, I think, 150,000. However, when there's 7 jobs associated with the industry indirectly, and that leads up to anywhere between 5 to 700,000. That's not even counting the farmers who get royalties from it. And you contrast that with today. Tim Walz will be in Erie, right? Where they're trying to get Pittsburgh Democrats to go to it. I don't know what that means, other than maybe they're not getting the kind of response that they expect. All their events are invite only. So, in Erie, in 2 weeks, it's going to be the big shale convention right at the spot where he's going to be. It would be an opportunity to say, look, we're going to lift the ban on LNGs, liquid natural gas, that the Biden-Harris team put in place in January. And this proves that we are supporting fracking. But I highly doubt they're going to do it, because if you're going to say you support fracking, but your values on climate change have not changed, then you are talking about out both sides of your mouth, and people will go with what you've historically believed.
Yeah, she's been anti-fracking for 8 years. She had a conversion allegedly on.
I mean, folks, what Salena and Hugh are basically saying, it is so true that if Kamala Harris becomes president, her administration is going to go after, as the 2 biggest things, the zealotness of Kamala Harris. There are 2 main objectives that they would like to do in terms of just, getting rid of everything. Number 1, they would like to get rid of any of the laws that try to put any type of curtailment or restriction on abortions. They are 1,000% in on abortion, pro-choice, which is equal to the murdering of children. They are all in on that, folks. They are all in. And they will do anything and everything within their power to curtail the state's rights, to do anything in regard to that. And number 2, in terms of energy, climate change, these guys are going to do everything in their power to shut down energy in the United States of America. They're going to do everything in their power to try to limit liquid natural gas, the coal industry, fracking, oil exploration, all of that. And she comes out there and she's changing her views now because she has to moderate to the middle just to get elected. These are all lies that are coming out of the lips of Kamala Harris. And Trump needs to attack her every single time on these issues. And to say that, Kamala, you know what, your values haven't changed, but your policies have, that doesn't even make any freaking sense, folks. My values have stayed the same throughout, but I'm willing to change on my policies. Well, doesn't that mean that somehow, if you want to change your policies, you've had to been taking a look and say, you know what, that didn't fit with what I was thinking about value-wise? They're speaking out of both sides of their mouth. Anyways, let's get to more of what Salena has to say on the pulse of Pennsylvania with Hugh Hewitt.
I don't think Pennsylvania believe it. Let's go back. Donald Trump talking more broadly here about what 2024 is about. Cut number 19.
Not that different. It's still about the forgotten man and the forgotten woman. The people are being treated horribly in this country. We're a country that's being laughed at all over the world. And I'll be honest, if Joe Biden would be a great president, I would be happier than being the worst president in the history of our country, because I want to see what's good for the country. And I would have been very happy. I have very nice places I could be. This is not easy. I got shot at. I got hit. I could have been all over that place. I could have. But you know what? It's very simple, and it starts with make America great again. That's what we have to do.
What do you make of that answer, Salena Zito?
Well, look, here is where Donald Trump shines when he talks about the forgotten man and forgotten woman.
Yes.
There was a reason that in February of 2021, he showed up in East Palestine and he walked around in galoshes. I kid you not, I have pictures of him handing out bottles of water and cheeseburgers. Despite his growing up with money with his parents, he has always held this connection with the forgotten man. And 42 miles away from East Palestine is Butler, right? He understands to show up and have those people feel heard. He understands the sense of place and rootedness. And so that answer doesn't just pertain to Pennsylvania. It pertains to places all over the country. You and I have talked about this a million times. He's talking about Ashtabula. He's talking about Youngstown. He's talking about these places all across the country where Republicans and Democrats don't show up and ask to earn their vote.
I am very glad.
That is so true. I mean, he's talking about the counties Butler, Erie, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, anything outside of the Pittsburgh suburbia and Philadelphia suburbia. And I think Trump needs to go to Pittsburgh. I think he needs to go to Philadelphia and everywhere. Take the tour out there. You got about 60 plus days going on here. Pennsylvania is it. You just need to camp out Pennsylvania, Michigan. I mean, this is what they need to do. Do your events. You can do a huge tour in Pennsylvania in 2 days. And then go to Wisconsin, 2 days. Go to Michigan, 2 days. North Carolina, 1 day. Arizona, 2 days. Nevada, 2 days. New Mexico. I mean, this is what they need to do. Go out there, do the events, talk to the people, continue these rallies. You hear people talking about all the time, rallies don't work anymore. Well, rallies start to work when they see Kamala going. And Kamala, all these rallies, they're invite only? What the heck is that? Invite only? And when you see the size of these rallies that Kamala is having, I mean, they're just small. And then you see clips online of people finding out that they're busing in people outside of the state, busing them in. Kamala's campaign is getting caught, inloading, freeloading, bus loading people to come to the events. This is why personally, okay, when I've been looking at the polls and the statistics right now, and the new thing that just dropped in terms of Rasmussen, where he's up by 6 points nationally, I think Trump is going to take Pennsylvania by 4 to 5 points. I don't think the polls are close at all. I think there's a lot of push polls going along. Anyways, let's get back to more of Salena and Hugh.
As well, that Sean Hannity asked him to react to the school shooting in Georgia yesterday, where 2 students, 2 teachers were murdered by a 14-year-old. And Donald Trump was asked about it. This is what he said, cut number 20.
Well, it's a sick and angry world for a lot of reasons. And we're going to make it better. We're going to heal our world. We're going to get rid of all these wars that are starting all over the place because of incompetent American leadership. And we're going to make it better. Viktor Orban made a statement. They said, bring Trump back and we won't have any problems. He was very strong about that. So we're going to hopefully do very well. We have an election coming up. And actually, they keep saying 60, but it starts in Delaware and North Carolina and other places a lot sooner than that. So I think we're going to be very well set up to do a great job. And do we love Pennsylvania? Do we love it?
So his total answer, Salena, is it's a sick and dangerous world. I am going to bet $100 that David Muir and his colleagues we'll open the debate talking about school shooting. And Kamala Harris will say we need to ban AR-15. And Donald Trump is going to say, well, I got shot at by an AR-15, and that's not the answer. What did you think of his answer? Just, it's a sick and dangerous world.
Well, I mean, you still, as someone that has covered him for a very long time, same with you, you can still see the impact that shooting has had in his expressions, right? And that answer, speaks to the problems that we have in this country that go beyond the devices that are used to hurt people. People are going to, if your mind is not right, if things are not going right in your head, you are going to use what is ever available to commit whatever heinous crime you want to commit. And that's the sort of danger and sickness in all across the world. We don't effectively and meaningfully address mental illness. We haven't since we started taking institutions away. I'm not saying that those institutions were perfect. They were far from perfect. They needed reform. However, there are people out there that need help, and we're not helping them. And oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes they end up with tragic results because they've not been treated.
Let me play now. Cut 21. Donald Trump is talking with Sean Hannity about the illegal migration problem. Cut 21.
If they won, you'd have not 20 million, you have 100 million people. You won't have Social Security, you won't have Medicare, you won't have anything already. If you take a look at the numbers, they're filling up and loading up Social Security, Medicare with illegal immigrants that have come into our country, many of them from jails and many of them from very bad places. And we're not.
All right, Salena, we have less than a minute to the break. If you'll stay with me, I'd love to talk to you in the next segment as well, but a quick reaction to the 100 million illegals will come.
We have no idea what the number is. We truly don't. The government doesn't know. The Border Patrol, they have an idea, but it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed bluntly. And there are bad actors that are coming across more frequently than the families that are trying to escape.
Responding to Sean Hannity about Kamala Harris.
Order. So she wants to be, if they won, you'd have not 20 million. Order. So she wants to be politically correct, and we can't be politically correct anymore. Look, we have. We have October 7th. People saw it. We have things going on in the world right now where, with Israel and with the Middle East is blowing up. It's blowing up. We have Ukraine and Russia. That would never happen. That would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. If I were the president, it would have never happened, and everybody knew it. Iran was broke. They didn't have the money for Hamas and for Hezbollah. They didn't have the money for anybody. They wanted to get by. And we would have made a fair deal with them. I was only looking to make a fair deal with them. But, you know, I wanted to say it so much during my term. We went 4 years without any blow-ups. We had no World Trade Center blow-up. We had no radical Islamic terror. We had no radical Islamic terror because we were very tough at the borders and we were very tough with our statements, and we had the whole world was a safe place. That was the question they asked Viktor Orban, who's really considered a very strong. They said he's a strong man. Sometimes you need a strong man. He's a strong man. He's the prime minister of Hungary. And he said, you bring back Trump, everybody. Now, I'm not saying it, but he said it because I'd rather say respect. But he said, everybody was afraid of Trump. You bring him back, you're not going to have any problems. It's all going to go away. The world is blowing up. The world is blowing up.
So, Salena, Harrisburg has got 50,000 people. It's the state capital. It's the 9th largest city in Pennsylvania. What do you make about his choice to go there and his assertion there that the world will calm down? Does that resonate all across the Keystone State?
It does resonate across the state. He was in the Farm Show Complex. It is an iconic building. There is not a farmer in our state that has not been through that complex, beginning as a child with the 4-H or the FFA, right? And so there's an emotional connection, first of all, just being in that building. And you know, Harrisburg, like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia proper, is one of those blue dots in the state. However, the county is not, and the counties that surround it are not. And those counties are the ones that are going to make the difference. I say this all the time. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and to a smaller part, Harrisburg, have the larger populations in the state. But there is a ceiling. Where this election will be decided are in counties that surround those cities. The margins in those counties, just like in 2016, were able to place Trump over the top. In 2020, there was a myriad of different reasons, but Biden, because of his history in our state, was able to pick off some of those working class and bring them back to the fold. But I think that Biden and Harris, Biden was already struggling when he was still running, and Harris has to date not been able to connect with those voters. And I've also
I have a hypothetical. I want to ask a hypothetical before we run out of time, Salena. If Kamala Harris had Rachel Maddow host a town hall, and obviously you'd have magnometers, et cetera, but no ticket, no invitation, no busing in, could she fill that arena in Harrisburg?
I don't know, because every event in Pittsburgh has been by invite only, and you've been bussed there if you weren't already there. So that is my struggle as a reporter, trying to cover her and understand what her coalition is. These events have been tightly controlled. It is invite only. It's traditionally been union people.
See, that's the thing that's perplexing, is that the campaign is so tight in terms of trying to give this persona, right? It's all manufactured. It's all AstroTurf. I mean, invites only, busing in only. That's a great question that Hugh asked. Could she fill in that arena in Harrisburg? But as Salena so rightly pointed out, it's something that I've talked about immensely, is that I don't believe that Kamala Harris, there is no way. I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if somehow she was able to pull Pennsylvania out of her ass and win it. I just don't see the connection. You could understand with, Joe Biden, good old Scranton Joe. Just down the line, I just live, down the line. I just, live right across the next city. I just live right next door to you guys. Come on, I'm part of you. I'm part of Pennsylvania. I'm a Pittsburgher. And he was able to pick off some of those. And then plus we also know all the things with the mail-in ballots and, the extended dates to send in your ballots and no chain of custody required, no signatures required, Supreme Court coming in and overturning, the legislature in terms of where you can have elections, when you can have them, how you can have them, the rules, regulations. They just trampled over the Constitution in terms of that because of the COVID thing. But I think Trump is going to bring out the counties and make them redder and redder and redder. And as I said before, I really believe 3 to 5 points, Trump in Pennsylvania. I think that I just don't see. And if that's Pennsylvania, that's also Wisconsin, folks. And the same thing goes for Michigan. Same thing goes for Michigan. I think Trump's going to get all the Rust Belt states. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to that channel, like, share, and follow. You all know what to do. Take a look at our other video links above and below. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.